So what happens the morning after a presidential debate when most of the country says you lost, that you didn't pull off the game changer that your increasingly angry campaign desperately needed? Well, if you're Senator McCain, apparently the answer is send your wife out to attack. Seriously, make the woman who would be First Lady your attack dog. Unprecedented? Unbecoming? Almost unbelievable? Well, that's the role that Cindy McCain played today in Pennsylvania.
The day that Senator Obama decided to cast a vote to not fund my son when he was serving sent a cold chill through my body. Let me tell you.
You know how crazy and hectic it can be out there on the campaign trail? Somehow in all the hurly-burly today, Mrs. McCain didn't get around to mentioning that Senator McCain also voted against funding the troops. Senator Obama voted no on a defense authorization because there wasn't a timetable for leaving Iraq included in the package. 2 months later, Senator McCain also voted no on the same kind of bill because there was a timetable for leaving Iraq. Both men, both senators, both voted no on funding. But Mrs. McCain wasn't done.
I would suggest that Senator Obama change shoes with me for just one day. I suggest he take a day and go watch our fine young men and women deploy, get on those buses, and leave with a smile and a charge.
After watching his wife deliver her attack on Senator Obama, Senator McCain himself continued the assault.
So who is the real Senator Obama? Is he the candidate who promises to cut middle-class taxes, or the politician who voted to raise middle-class taxes? Is he the candidate who promises change, or is he the politician who has brought into everything what is wrong with Washington?
So now we know. That's what you do the day after losing your second presidential debate. What's McCain going to do if he loses the third debate, too? Start inciting his crowds to call for Obama's head? Actually, don't answer that. For his part, Senator Obama spent today campaigning in Indiana.
You know, back in 1980, Ronald Reagan asked the electorate whether you were better off than you were 4 years ago. At the pace things are going right now, you're going to have to ask whether you're better off than you were 4 weeks ago.
While the answer from the 21,000 people gathered there was a resounding no, the answer that Senator Obama's pollsters may have whispered behind the scenes when he asked if you're better off now than you were 4 weeks ago was probably some variation, some version of, yeah, we're way better off. 4 weeks ago, Senator Obama trailed Senator McCain by 4 points in Gallup's daily tracking poll. Today, Obama opened up his widest lead yet in that poll. He's now ahead by 11 points. And polls taken immediately after last night's debate showed a majority of debate watchers thought Obama won. So I can understand why the McCain campaign is hitting the panic button right now. What I can't understand is, why is the panic button Cindy McCain? Joining us now is NBC's Andrea Mitchell, who reported on the McCain rally today in Pennsylvania. She was also in the room for last night's debate in Nashville. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be with you, Rachel.
You have great experience covering presidents and would-be presidents. How unusual is it to see a potential first lady, a would-be first lady, throw a political bomb like Cindy McCain did today?
It was unusual, and the McCain campaign says it's not, that Michelle Obama has also been, very partisan. But we can't find anything that really comes close to what Cindy McCain did today, because she's talking about a very emotional issue, support for the troops, with her own son being there, something that anyone would have a great deal of empathy for, and also the fact that Sarah Palin, of course, has a son there now, and Joe Biden, a son that just deployed. So we're talking about a very powerful issue here, and the fact that she didn't make reference to the vote by her own husband on this issue. Now, the McCain camp says that was a symbolic vote because John McCain knew that George Bush would veto that bill. Rachel?
I don't want to ask you to play pundit rather than reporter here, Andrea, but I wonder if you are hearing anything from the Obama campaign that indicates that they want to punch back against attacks like this by pointing out John McCain's vote against troop funding, if you want to call it that, if they want to punch back by making their own guilt by association allegations against John McCain, or whether they think that they can strategically just stay clear of these attacks, hopefully create a little blowback for the McCain campaign, and sort of hope that they're hurt by the fact that they're going negative.
Well, certainly Joe Biden was out there today. He gave one of his strongest speeches yet, two actually very strong speeches, and went against Sarah Palin, took on the negative attacks, and did it, by all accounts, very effectively. That said, the Obama campaign has been pretty tough, too. They were prepared with that Keating 5 video over the weekend, and as soon as Sarah Palin took on the William Ayers issue, they unloaded all over John McCain with the Keating 5. Some people thought that was unfair. So it's not that either side has been refusing to throw punches. In fact, Barack Obama himself says we're not going to throw the first punch, but we will throw the last punch. So they're not going to be swift-boated and not have what happened to Michael Dukakis and John Kerry and, some would say Al Gore.
In terms of the number of different attacks that are coming from the McCain side, and I take your point absolutely on the Keating 5 video, that 13-minute video being ready to go from the Obama campaign. That's obviously something they had in reserve. You don't whip up a 13-minute documentary on short notice. But we're seeing so many different negative messages from the McCain campaign at once. We are seeing Palin publicly contradicting the campaign on, for example, the wisdom of pulling out of Michigan. We saw over the weekend some campaign aides from the McCain side weirdly telegraphing their strategy of trying to avoid talking about the economy. I feel like we're seeing a lot of indiscipline from the McCain campaign right now. Do you get that sense covering them? Do you think that we're going to see anybody get fired from that campaign? Any shakeups?
No, I think what you're seeing is a lot of frustration. Look, they were ahead, as you pointed out. September 10th, they were up in the daily tracking poll. And now, since this economic crisis, and you can track it from that, they have gone steadily down. And he needs a game changer. He didn't get it last night. You can score it either an Obama victory or a tie, but either way, John McCain didn't do what he needed to do to shake this thing up. So they have to figure out what is the event that will shake this up. And outside some other thing happening, some dreadful thing happening, or some dramatic change on either foreign or domestic policy, it is hard to imagine how this race will change if the polls are correct. If the battleground states are shaping up as they are. We, as of the beginning of this week, were scoring the battleground states, as were other news organizations, to be 264 for Barack Obama. That means that he only needs one more state, and he can do it with any number of combinations, whereas it's a much bigger stretch to imagine that John McCain, given the current circumstances with what is happening on the ground right now, would be able to pull this thing out.
Hence the frustration. NBC's Andrea Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's always great to have you on the show, Andrea.
My pleasure. Thanks.